Course director for 2311 Ammunition Technician course is Chief 105 Parham. The course deputy director is Master Gunner Sergeant Rodriguez. The chief instructor is Gunner Sergeant O'Brien. The class faculty advisor for class 617 TAC 22 is Staff Sergeant Kaiser. Please join me in a round of applause for all who contributed to the success of this course. So that our guests may understand what the graduated Marines accomplished while assigned to Marine Corps Detachment Fort Lee, here is a brief overview of the course they are graduating from today. The 2311 Ammunition Technician course starts off with 10 days of joint instruction from Army, civilian, and Marine instructors on munitions, publications, interbreeding, munitions markings, military explosives, ammunition identification ranging from small arms ammunition to mortars and artillery, and ending with small guided missiles identification. Students must also demonstrate preparing a firing system with live demolition material before they can transition to the next phase of their training. Once completed, the students then begin their Marine-specific instruction on management, control, and accounting of Class B assets. After learning the administrative aspect of their military occupation specialty, the student progresses to the combat service support operation classes. After becoming fully knowledgeable, they transition to learning the Defense Ammunition Center's Motor Vehicle Railcar Inspectors course. Here, students learn about preparing ammunition for shipment and inspecting ammunition vehicles. Written and comprehensive examinations conducted after each class display the overall ability of the newly trained Marines to function as ammunition technicians. Here to say a few words to the graduating class is the guest speaker for today's graduation, Sergeant Xenia Bott.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, First Sergeant, staff. Thank you for coming, family members, and of course, good morning to the graduating class. All right, so I know y'all ready to leave, for Never Leave. All right, I'm pretty sure y'all ready. So I'm gonna give you all a little story. All right. So this story is about a farmer. All right. So this farmer, he lives in a village in India, small village in India, right? And then the village he's in, right? In order for him to get to the city, he has to go through this hard path, right? And the path is made of rocks. All right. So it's like big rocks, and so it takes like 3 or 4 hours for him to get to the city, right? So gets married, right? Gets married to a girl from the village. And so the girl, so females usually in the villages, they usually stay in the village. They don't really have to go to the city because they have, males, or they usually take care of every household stuff. So he gets married, the wife, she gets pregnant, right? So while she's pregnant, there's a midwife in the village that usually takes care of it. But one day, they can't find the midwife, and then the wife is having complications, right? And then at that time, the husband is like, oh, well, my wife is in pain, and I need to do something about it. So what he does is he convinces his wife to go to the city with him. All right. So now remember that the path still has a lot of rocks. All right. So he convinced his wife, and the wife is like, no, I'll be okay. Like I'm in pain, but I'll be able to bear it. It's not that big of a deal. So what happened was they go to the city, right? While they're traveling, it takes like 3 or 4 hours for them to just go to the city. So while they're going, all right, he's holding her hand and everything because he's scared for her, and then she's also carrying the baby as well. What happens is that she slips. All right, she slips, she falls. She dies at the moment at the spot. So is the baby. At that point, the husband, all he's thinking, it was my fault. So he makes a decision at that time, and his decision is, I'm gonna make a path for everybody that lives in the village, so nobody else has to go through what I just went through. All right, so he goes back. Get an axe, right? Because that's what they had at that time, right? They don't have no machinery, no nothing. It's like way back in the times, right? So get an axe and start like breaking the rocks down. The people walk by, they're like, well, this man is crazy because there's no way he's gonna make a path in here. It's not that easy. It's like a lot of rocks. And he's like, no, I'm gonna do this, not for me, but for the people that are in the village, right? So he's determined, he's doing it every day. He goes in and does it. And the people that walk by, they just call him crazy. They're like, what are you doing, right? So one day he doesn't come to work, right? Not work, but one day he's not there. And the people that are walking by, they're like, well, where's this man at? So the people, they go back to the village and they find out that he passed away, right? Because it took him like years and he was still building it, never got finished. So what the people do, right? Because they're like, that was his last wish, he wanted to do it for the people. So we're gonna make sure it gets done. And it takes them like months. All of them came together. It takes them months to finish it, and they finally finish it, right? There's one takeaway, the biggest takeaway from this story, and that takeaway is there's always somebody watching. Whatever you do, there's always somebody watching. Yes, they were calling him crazy. They were like, well, what are you doing, But they were watching him, and they knew that he was doing it for a good reason. He was doing it for the people. He wasn't doing it for himself, because he already lost his wife. So he was doing it with somebody. So there's two options you guys have in the Marine Corps, right? You can be a leader, right? That tells the Marines, hey, take your hands out of your pocket. But that corporal, sergeant, whoever's in charge, always got their hands in their pocket, right? You can either do that, or hey, you gotta be outside tomorrow. All of you gotta be outside tomorrow at 05 for PT. But some of us are never there. Or she rolls up at like 05:30. Like, oh, are we done? No? Oh, okay. You can either do that. You can be either that leader, or you can lead by example, and you're the first one out there, and you're always in the front. Those are the two choices you have in the Marine Corps. And whatever choice you make, that's on you. Because at the end of the day, it is your career, and no one's gonna care about your career more than yourself. All right. With that being said, I wish you all best of luck for going to the Fleet Marine Force. All right. And then good morning, Marines.
Good morning, Sergeant. At this time, the school directors will now recognize the Distinguished Honor Graduate. The Distinguished Honor Graduate for MLS 2311, Class 617, TAC 22, is PFC Samuel T. Clark. PFC Clark is graduated today with an academic average of 99.65%. PFC Clark will be receiving a meritorious promotion, a certificate of commendation, a book from the Commandant's Professional Reading List, and a plaque from the Marine Corps Association. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Attention orders. To all who shall see these presents greetings, know ye that reposing special trust and confidence in the fidelity and abilities of Samuel T. Clark. I do appoint this Marine a Lance Corporal meritoriously in the United States Marine Corps to rank as such from the second day of May 2022. This appointee will therefore carefully and diligently discharge the duties of the grade to which appointed by doing and performing all manner of things thereunto pertaining. And I do strictly charge and require all personnel of lesser grade to render obedience to appropriate orders. And this appointee is to observe and follow such orders and directions as may be given from time to time by superiors acting according to the rules and articles governing the discipline of the Armed Forces of the United States of America. Given under my hand at Marine Detachment, Fort Lee, Virginia, this second day of May in the year of our Lord, 2022. Signed, Julian M. Sacano, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Marine Corps, Commanding.
What are you doing today? Yes, sir. Congratulations on your professional distinguished honor graduate. Is your family here today? Yes, sir. Where are they coming from? South Carolina, sir. Carolina. Duty station? No, sir. No. Okay, so where's the Marine Corps sending you? Or reserve station? Reserve station. Congratulations.
Certificate of Commendation. Commanding Officer, Marine Detachment, Fort Lee, Virginia. Takes pleasure in commending Lance Corporal Samuel T. Clark, United States Marine Corps, for exceptional performance of his duties while serving as a student in the Ammunition Technician Course 617 TAC 22 at Marine Detachment, Fort Lee, Virginia, from March 2022 to May 2022. During this period, Lance Corporal Clark performed his demanding duties in an exemplary and highly professional manner. His professionalism and positive can-do attitude was demonstrated by graduating as a distinguished honor graduate in the class. Lance Corporal Clark's initiative, leadership, and loyal dedication to duty reflected credit upon him and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Signed, Julian M. Scano. Lieutenant Colonel, United States Marine Corps, Commanding.
Congratulations. Keep up the outstanding work.
Lance Corporal Clark is being transferred to 4th MLG, Greenville, South Carolina. Marines, please be seated. Please join me in a round of applause for the distinguished honor graduates. We will now recognize the remaining graduating Marines without regard to class standing. Please withhold all applause until all graduates have been recognized. PFC Aiden Bott. He is being transferred to 4th MLG, Greenville, South Carolina. PFC Aiden Crystal. He is being transferred to 4th MLG, Joliet, Illinois. PFC Elizabeth Desiderio. She is being transferred to 3rd Supply Battalion, Okinawa, Japan. PFC Esmeralda Gutierrez. She's being transferred to 5th Battalion, 11th Marines, Camp Pendleton, California. PFC Kylie Hardy. She is being transferred to 5th Battalion, 11th Marines, Camp Pendleton, California. PFC Elizabeth Jefferson. She is being transferred to 3rd Supply Battalion, Okinawa, Japan. PFC Brooke Litz. She is being transferred to 3rd Supply Battalion, Okinawa, Japan. PFC Obiemi Ogunshakin. She's being transferred to 5th Battalion, 11th Marines, Camp Pendleton, California. PFC Ashton Picken. She's being transferred to 4th MLG, Greenville, South Carolina. PFC Melvin Rivas. He's being transferred to 2nd Supply Battalion, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. PFC Taya Rodriguez. She's being transferred to COC 33, Kebe, Hawaii. Please join me in a round of applause for the graduating Marines. Marines, on behalf of our staff, we would like to congratulate you on a job well done and wish you fair winds and fallen seas in your future endeavors. Please rise for the playing of the Marines Hymn.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine. Our flags unfurled to every breeze, from dawn to setting sun.
and gentlemen, please be seated. We would like to thank our guest speaker and our guests for attending today's graduation. Once the class has been dismissed, please join us in congratulating the Marines. Staff Sergeant Kaiser will now give the Marines their final dismissal.
Class 617, Type 22, dismissed!
Dismiss our Staff Sergeant!
Congratulations, Ray. Keep that up, all right?